Hello everybody, this is Summer and welcome to Blush and Brows, a makeup enthusiast series on a little tips, tricks, and more. Today we will be talking about natural looks, a very low energy, starting from the basics on makeup. So what you want to do first is I would know about your skin type. There are different little skin types, like you can have oily skin, dry skin, combination. Starting with that, you'll need to obtain a routine. A routine could look like making sure you wash your face every night, having something for acne like adapalene is an example. That way all of that gunk can get out of your skin. Not to say acne is natural, it happens, and you're not any uglier or worse for it. It's a part of life. So if you want to not cover up your acne with makeup, that is your own personal choice. It's an option. It's important that there are options out there. There is no one true method for most of this. Phases and trends come and go, like those gold face masks, it has to have gold in it, or something with fish eggs. You know, all of these things, they're trends, doesn't necessarily mean, oh, this is how you have to do this forever, you know? There's always something new that comes by, and there's always, you know, like science improvements. And today, what I wanted to start off with is my routine. Now you can see my skin, I'm a little red, it's warm in here, it's turning up the heat in summertime, and I got a giant ring light on me, so I'm a little red, you know, strawberries. But yeah, that's what I'm like currently. I'm doing pretty good acne-wise right now. It goes with the hormonal changes, you know, fluctuating. That's to be expected. My personal routine is that at night I make sure I face wash. I think I have this thing with mangosteen in it. I'm not entirely sure what it does, but it got vitamins in it that are good for your skin. Every so often, like once a week, exfoliate. You don't want to exfoliate too much, you know. That can really dry you out. You need your moisture for a reason, you know? You can't just strip your entire skin of its oils. It's there for your protection. And after I wash my face at night, I go to bed with a serum to help, you know, stay hydrated. Key part, drinking water helps you stay hydrated. Try to drink water. That really does help with your skin. Recommended at least 60 fluid ounces a day. For example, my big water bottle is 40 fluid ounces. Go through 2 of these a day, that's 80. That makes it a lot better. A lot easier if you're just sipping on it as you chat, work, home, whatever. It helps. And beyond hydration and maintaining healthy skin, you can also in the morning make sure you put on your sunscreen. The sun is no joke, especially in this Georgia heat. You know, routine care. Key part for the day, routine care. Now, to start off with today, I have a little soothing towelette. That way I can freshen up for y'all today. Just pull one of these out, you know, they have the little things on it. And I do soothing because I am very sensitive skinned. I have to buy certain products that won't make me red and burn my skin. So it's important to look at what you get when you buy the products. Because sometimes they have these things in them that just break you out or make your skin worse. And sometimes chemical rashes, if you know, Your skin really doesn't like it. And you gotta pay attention to those things. Look at reviews, see if they were made for sensitive skin. You can look up the ingredients on them, you know. That way you know what you're putting on your skin. Because we've all been there. You put on a face mask, a very cheap one from the drugstore, and bam, suddenly you're chemically burnt and you're all red and it's awful and itchy. We've all been there, you know. But yeah, not sponsored by anybody. This is just what I personally use. And it has like a little list of what it does. It has aloe vera in it. That way I can stay hydrated and it doesn't irritate my skin, but it feels really refreshing, you know. Get a blank canvas for what we're gonna do today. Key part, having a clean face. That way it's ready to accept what you're gonna put on it. Today we're gonna go for a more natural look, and that will include trying to look healthy in the skin, not put too much on. And key part, even though we're not putting on major makeup, we're gonna be putting on a setting spray. That way it helps with the moisture. Just spraying it on, generally on my face. It smells really good. What's the point of putting something on your face if it smells awful? Am I right? It gotta smell good. But yeah, putting that on to help hydrate the face. It can help put the product on there and stick on there longer. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I've seen that it helps personally, just me being an enthusiast, not an expert, on my makeup journey. And next step, to help with hydration, I have a tinted moisturizer that I generally use. With it being tinted, it means that it has its own, I'm trying to help you see what it looks like, color to it to try to match your skin tone. Don't be afraid to go to the drugstore and ask, hey, what do you think would look best on me? Because you don't want to go too light for your skin tone. You don't want to go too dark. You want to get just right. And right now, I'm very red and warm, so this might look a little crazy at first, but I'm just going to rub it in gently. You don't want to pull your skin, you know. You want to be gentle with it. It's your friend. Try to get it into your pores, you know. I look so hydrated. I'm so shiny looking. Oh my goodness. That is in right now. Dewy skin, the glass skin. I feel like that's so in right now. Personally, when I do big makeup looks, I do matte because I'm a greasy person. If I don't do matte, I look greasy. So rub that in. If I need more, I can use a little bit more. Don't use too much right off the bat. It's important that you can just build up. It's okay to start off small. Just build it up. And rub it in gently. I like to do circular motions. That way I just feel like I'm at a spa. And when you're up here on your forehead, pull upwards. Swoop up under your eyes. I hear that if you pull at your skin a little bit too much, you know, it can help make saggier skin. I'm not sure if that's entirely true or not, but it just feels good that way to me. There's no one tried and true way though. The science behind makeup, the industry is evolving all the time. Okay. So I got a tinted moisturizer on. It has sunscreen built in. I need that. I love it. And always make sure you wash your hands before you do this, because, you know, I'm going to be using my hands a lot today. Not everybody has brushes or sponges, so we'll be starting off with just the fingers, you know? Something easy to acclimate people into. Next next step I usually do is focus on my brows. Now, I shaped them already today. Sometimes you can get them waxed. You can have them threaded. Personally, threading and waxing, it makes me cry. And I can't do plucking, it also makes me cry. So you can get these at like the store. They have like this little razor on it. That way, when you glide over it, it just does that. Now I already shaped them. You're supposed to do that part before you start putting on your moisturizer and everything. And then wait a little bit because sometimes it can sting. Because you're just, shaving your eyebrows ever so slightly. That way you can get them shaped to your liking. Shape complements a different face. I've heard that there's sharper brows you can do. It just depends on how you like your look. You can personalize them. Some people, have the little shaved part in the eyebrows, make them look cool. And then next, I do a little bit of a concealer to help finish off the skin look a little bit. Here, if you're like me and don't sleep good, or just insomnia, scrolling on your phone, bad habits, you have a little bit of under eye bags. I'm gonna just put a little bit because this stuff is pretty strong. You can have them at different layers and levels of strength of how much it covers up. Some of them cover up really, really good. I'm doing little dots on some of my acne. Little dots. And some of them are for more of a see-through look. And I'm patting my finger gently. Pat, 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 pat. You don't want to rub because it's just gonna take the product off of your eye. Now, if you have something on the under of your eye and it starts burning, stop using that product. Don't use it. Your eye is telling you, hey, something in this my skin does not agree with. I know from experience using something that my body doesn't like. I just kind of pat it gently to spread the color and to cover up my under eye bag. Now look, voila. And I'm going to do the other side. Gently pat on over, get near your eye, but not in it. Please don't put it in your eye. Not meant for in the eye. Just put it around it, near the eye bag. And you can always put more. But this look today, I'm not trying to do a full foundation contour look. I'm just doing something general. And then for the little spots I had that were red, I'm just gonna gently rub them around, trying to get them even and blended. Keyword, blended. And I'm not a pro. I'm sure my makeup sponge needs to be cleaned as we speak. And people know better techniques, but this is just as worked for me personally. Just pat, 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 pat. No rub. Only pat. Only rub if you want to get rid of the product. And my cheeks are red because I'm warm, and that is okay. Just rub these a little bit. There we go. And then once you get into more of the other videos, you can get more into detail using contour. But today it's just something simple. Focus on red blemishes and spots and under eye bags. That way it looks a lot better. It's just trying to build up a little bit. Just to give yourself a little, something's different about you today, but I can't quite pin down on it. Something like that. Always make sure you wash your hands. I know I get a lot of contour everywhere, especially using your hands like that, so be careful. It will get on your clothes. And now a little bit more emphasis on our eyes. The eyes are the gateway to the soul, as the phrase goes. So I want to start with a little, something's different about you. I have like a little whole makeup set that I use for eyeshadows. They're made to go on your face, very pigmented. You can get all sorts of different ones at the drugstore or online, whichever style you like best. Comes with a mirror, they're fun. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of this dark brown, very gently poke it. That way I can get a little bit of pigment. And at the corner of my eye, gently go over it. Pat, 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 pat. Pat down, that way you get the color in there. And you go over the top lid in that corner. That way it looks a little bit darker than it normally would. But it's just something different. Ever so slightly, something different. And pat a little bit more. Get more in the corner. Try to pat as you go closer to the middle. That way it kind of creates a blended gradient. You can kind of drag it a little bit too if you want to blend more. There you go. This side, this side. This is something different. And I'll use more for the other eye. Get into the corner and pat, 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 and try to bring it back into the middle. Now, people really try to go with symmetry for makeup looks, but that's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's okay if you're not symmetrical. Something about a phrase where they're sisters, not twins. And I think if you look cool in general at the end of the day, and you like it, and you carry it with confidence, that's what matters. Because you're the one wearing it, and it's for you to have fun with. It's your self-expression, nobody else's. Kind of rubbing to help get that gradient across. And that way, it's ever so slightly darker at the very edge near your lash line. And it can kind of create the illusion that maybe there's a little bit something going on there. Bringing emphasis into your eyes. And to bring more emphasis, a little bit of mascara. Now, I probably should have brought like a brown mascara. This is my waterproof black mascara. I do waterproof products because I'm working and I want this to last. So waterproof. I'll just do a few swipes. If you're uncomfortable with mascara, there are these curlers out there made to curl your lashes. That way you don't have to use it as much. But I just swoop in with the brush and move up gently on the edges of the lashes. And I do mess up sometimes. Especially when I want to have a lot of length and volume. Another method that my friend did back in middle school was I open my eye real big, blink, blink, blink when it's close. Blink, blink, blink. And that way, you got a little bit of lash. And look, there's just something different now. And you can't always quite pinpoint what. And you can see these celebrities where, oh, it's a no makeup look, but they are wearing makeup. It's just a little extra oomph to them. It's the subtlety of it all. And before I finish off with lips, I use a setting powder when I know I'm gonna be at work, I'm gonna be greasy, I'm gonna be warm. This helps me not sweat my makeup off, because, you know, your sweat is an oil, and I'm using stuff waterproof, and oil gets off the makeup, so I want to protect that. And I have a brush that's it's labeled a setting brush. That way I know exactly what it is. I'm not a brush expert by any means, but I think the way to tell is that it's a very fluffy brush, very fluffy, and the brush shape is kind of like an oval. That way it can spread out the powder. There are setting sprays, but today, since I'm gonna be out and about for a long time and my skin type is oily, just dip, dip, tap, tap. That way don't get too much on your face. I know I'm gonna be out and about. And after I dip, dip, tap, tap, you pat it on gently with the brush. And I'm starting with under the eyes and spreading out. Kind of start out at a point and gradually pat outwards to spread it. Dip it in, pat, pat. Next eye, that way the contour definitely stays there. And the eyeshadow is ever so slightly there, so I'm not gonna worry about that too much. But I'm gonna worry about my zones where I get greasy. So tap, tap, tap under my chin. Especially where I had the concealer at. Tap it outwards. Do my nose. And do between my eyebrows. You can kind of see it being a little bit less shiny on my skin as I put it on top. Just down here for the remaining stuff. It just feels fun putting it on because it's so fluffy. It's just so fluffy. It's important to play around a little bit and have fun. This isn't supposed to be a chore. This is supposed to be you having fun. So have fun with it. And last but not least, lips. Now for a natural look, you could use a chapstick, a lip balm, a lip stain that is closer to your natural shade. In my case, I'm gonna do a gloss because that's fun. It makes me look like I have big juicy lips, you know, and that they're hydrated because they do stay hydrated. Not all glosses are equal, in my opinion. There are some better than others. And this one I like a lot. It has like a very vanilla smell to it, vanilla taste. Because why am I putting it on my lips and it smells bad? You know, I like it smelling good. But for those unfamiliar with putting on things like this, you get the applicator, put it in the product. I had a lot on there, so I kind of put the extra stuff back in, and I gently go over the bottom of my lip, you know, at the top, and this, rub them together. Easy enough with gloss. Chapstick, you just rub it on and it's there, but you get a little extra something. And here's the look. It's very simple, it's very subtle, but it does elevate my everyday skin wear. Now I'll be having a more masculine segment after this for those who would like to know on how to accentuate in a more stereotypically masculine way and the skincare behind that. More or less it's the same, but there's that segment shortly after this. For a more masculine appearance, you'll want to emphasize your shadows in your face to get an angular look. I already applied tinted moisturizer. That way you can hydrate your face. Skincare is very important. It'll be the same as regular face wash, you know, and hydration. But for my brows, I wanted to emphasize them and make them darker than what I usually have. So I have a brow gel where I'm going to move the hairs upwards to make them darker and fan out to give them a larger eyebrow appearance. Moving upwards will help them look fuller and darker, especially with the gel that I'm putting on my eyebrows. You can already start seeing the difference. Masculine appearance typically has much darker eyebrows associated with it, so that way you can help emphasize those features with a brow gel or pencil or maybe even shadow. Relating to skincare, it is important to do face wash, hydrate, and apply lotion and sunscreen when you can, much similarly to a everyday routine as mentioned. Now, it is important that you do skincare. Like, body wash isn't meant for the face. That's why you get a specific face wash. And to take care of your overall appearance, that way you just look nicer and more professional. And then I'm doing a primer because I kind of forgot about it. And it's okay to prime. Here, I'm emphasizing the shadows that I'll create with some contour. That way you can bring more emphasis to your face shape. And I'm using the dark color to get those shadows. I'll just use my finger because that's easy. It's easy to blend in that way. Going for an overall natural look and creating those striking angled features versus with more feminine looks, you're getting the curvature and lessening those angles a little bit. Here I'm just rubbing it all in, creating those shadows with the contour. You can do this in a variety of ways. You don't have to do it overall if you don't want to, but I think this helps me personally if I wanted to appear more masculine. You're just going to rub it in to help blend it out. It's important to blend it out if you're going to use the contour method that I'm doing. That way it doesn't just look like a line of brown on your face and it kind of develops into a more natural shadow. I made a little fishy face to kind of help with the cheek shadow that I'm going to create by going under the cheekbone and downwards into my jaw. That way it can help emphasize that angled shape of my cheekbones that it kind of creates. And I'm just going to do the same for the other side. You can see the difference ever so slightly with the shadow there versus not being there. I think it just adds something a little bit nice to emphasize your face shape and to help create that more masculine appearance. And just blend it out the best I can by rubbing, although don't rub too hard, as previously mentioned. Then we're going along the jawline to kind of help create that jawline illusion a little bit, although it is there, it just needs a little bit more something to it. And this kind of can help with that. And here I was going to create some shadow above the lips to kind of create the mustache 5 o'clock shadow look. And I'll be adding more shadow as we go over it. I already have a little bit of upper lip hair anyways, so we'll be emphasizing that more and giving you tips on how to kind of create the facial hair look even when you might not have a lot or none at all. For some, creating that on their face can kind of help you with your confidence or how you might just want to look that day, so giving those tips and tricks for everybody to know kind of helps out. Then down here, I'm also going to create a little bit of shadow beneath the lips to kind of help with more of the shadowy appearance. And here, what I used on my eyebrows, I can also use on the mustache, similar to how you would with eyebrows, but I'm going with the grain of hairs to create that mustache appearance. Go lightly at first because you can always add more versus if you go in too hard or too rough and you can't take it away as easy because of the eyebrow gel. But you can see that it kind of looks pretty much like a natural mustache because the brush for the eyebrow gel that I have has this brush that creates a coarse hair look anyways. So I'm kind of adding that on to there. You can also do this with mascara, although results vary with the mascara. And I'm just kind of trying to shape it by scraping off some of the color that I don't like. It's okay if it's not entirely symmetrical. I kind of leave the middle part out, not a full stash. Just a personal choice. Depending on how your hair grows or how you might want it to grow, you can do it in the facial hairstyle that you like. And I'll be doing a little bit of underlip hairs, kind of piratey, honestly. You know, Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean, you know? So something like that. Just going for that appearance and helping create the little hairs with the gel. Now, I've seen some people put mascara on. I already had some on to kind of help emphasize the eyes a little bit and create long, dark lashes. And key part here, hydrating your lips with some chapstick, in my case Aquaphor, because it really helps staying hydrated and not being chapped. Who likes a chapped lip? Honestly, nobody. And here's the overall look, giving you some poses. I hope you found this helpful in creating a masculine natural look. I hope you enjoyed today's video on blush and brows. Our series will be releasing 2 more after this. The next one will be on a more business casual look. You know, a little bit more something here and there, starting with the eyeshadow basics, and then we'll be having a finale with a bold makeup look on going through the entire process of making a full face. And it's not just gonna be regular eyeshadow either. There's gonna be a design. I'm not gonna spoil it, but tune in next time on Blush and Brows. Thank you. Feel free to leave your tips and tricks and your experiences in the comments below. Have a good one.